In thinking about talking about Gaylord Lehman, I looked up the meaning of distinguish and distinguished. And to distinguish is to set apart or to differentiate. And the meanings of distinguished included notable, noteworthy, eminent, preeminent, honorable, respected. I think by any of those measures, Gaylord Lehman was a distinguished man and a distinguished citizen of our city.
It's clear that Gaylord had quite an impact on this community. When he moved here in the late 60s, the church was ready to begin a new direction and take on some new emphases, and he helped to shape its worship style and particularly its involvement in the community. It's always been a hallmark of this church that it was involved more directly in the community. It reached out throughout the world, but the community ministries were what intrigued and interested Gaylord and caught the heart and passion of the church.
I think the thing that made the biggest impression on me about Gaylord was that he practiced what he preached. He was involved in the community.
I think the reason is that he truly believed in everything he was doing, and his outreach was to everybody in the community. He lived service.
And that's the legacy he left for us, that we need to go and be involved in the world. And this is, I think, a very fitting recognition for Gaylord, because his was a life of service to others.
And I think that Gaylord clearly distinguished himself as a citizen of our community in that respect as well, with his extensive record of service to our community as a member of the school board, as chairman of the Human Relations Commission, his work with Meals on Wheels, for which he was particularly a strong supporter.
He was a wonderful advocate and community leader for our program. When he retired in 1989, he came on the board of directors for Meals on Wheels in 1999. And from that point on was very involved. He had been involved before through the church. He served on the board for the past 15 years on and off. He was the chairman of our board, involved in all of our events. And I can't remember, I've been with Meals on Wheels for 6 years. I can't remember one event or board meeting that Gaylord wasn't there.
He obviously had a tremendous impact on me, on my wife Sarah, and our kids. But in a larger perspective, he had an impact on the community that was unbelievable.
He was the kind of person that you would seek out for advice in touchy situations, issues of importance to our community, direction. He was often sought after as a speaker and just as a confidant.
Gaylord, when I came on Meals on Wheels 6 years ago, Gaylord was one of the people that I turned to when there was anything big going on, or if you had to make a big decision and I was unsure about how we'd done it in the past, or just some of the things that were going on. I could call Gaylord. He would always have time. We'd talk. He'd bring up different points and make me see different angles, and usually help me work through the problems or the decisions that I was trying to make being new to the job. And he really was a big help to me.
We also shared a common love for the Outer Banks. Gaylord performed a wedding, and as a wedding gift from the couple, they offered Faith and Gaylord and their family a week at Nag's Head. And the second year came and they offered it again. And then they sold a unit. And Gaylord was lamenting to me that he had really fallen in love with the Outer Banks, but he didn't have a place to go. I said, well, we have a place in the same complex. Why don't you go to our place? And they've been going for 40 years.
Gaylord did have his dark side. He was an ardent supporter of the University of North Carolina basketball team.
Gaylord and I had shared a common interest in sports, in particularly Carolina and Carolina basketball. And we have been to every Duke Carolina basketball game in the Smith Center since it opened, 30 years. And we had a little saying about Gaylord, and that is Gaylord always had carried the Gaylord bag. He carried a plastic trash bag. We put our coats in it. And then after the game, he'd go around, gather up all the blue stadium cups, put them in the bag, bring them back, wash them up, and that's what the kids used on Sunday night at youth meetings.
I think in many ways, when you think about distinguished citizens, his loss to our community is a great loss because he was someone who was respected by many and who shared that respect for others. And I think when you look at people in our community that you would tend to put on a special level, he definitely is in that group.
Tremendous guy, have a lot of time for him. Great loss to the community, and I just can't say enough good things. I'm thrilled he's getting this award. Should have happened years and years ago, but you know, the award takes on a special significance with Gaylord winning it.
So after so many years of his being here, it's been difficult for us to say goodbye to him. But we are indeed grateful that he made this his home and had such an impact, not only on the community as a whole, but on individual lives as well.